Welcome in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking us out here on the channel. If you guys could subscribe, I would appreciate that. Tobin and Leroy also on the 560 WQAM YouTube page, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Full show coming up on Friday. The Canes lost, so we are back to our regularly scheduled program coming up on Friday. And, yeah, man, there's a couple things I want to touch on here, but the first thing is, you guys know we all like to dabble in fake trades, all right? We all like to dabble in the whale hunting, but, every once in a while you'll see, some trades get thrown out there, and you're just like, what? That what? And this happened to me yesterday, because I was scrolling through the gram, and I saw Bleacher Report, fake trades, and they had one for the Heat. And it's legitimately one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. It was a terrible trade. And I'm trying to figure out, what are they smoking over there? I mean, I know, Bleacher Report is based in Atlanta. So, maybe they're just hopeful. Maybe this is a spunky Hawks fan who put together this list. I don't know. But I saw this Bleacher Report idea, and I was like, that's the worst trade I've ever seen in my life. And here was the trade idea. It was a trade for the Miami Heat to get Trae Young. We dabbled in some Trae Young talk. It was July. It was June, July. It was a long off season. You gotta crank out the content. But we talked about the Trae Young thing, about would the Heat be interested in going down that road, and still have to wonder with the Hawks, what is Trae Young's future with that franchise and where they go. It's going to be interesting. They seem to have a couple of young guys who are shining for them. But Trae Young, I think, is loved there. So I don't think they're going to just do it for nothing. But this was knowing where Trae Young is with the contract and knowing where that team has kind of been, I was like, are you crazy with this haul the Heat? You think the Heat should give up for him? This was their trade. They said the Heat get Trae Young and Larry Nance Jr., and the Heat have to give up Kel'el Ware, Duncan Robinson, a first-round pick, unprotected in 2029, and Tyler Hero. Mind you how Tyler Hero is playing right now and how good he's been this season. And the Hawks, this Hawks bro, or whoever made this trade over at Bleacher Report's I basically want every asset you have that's not Jimmy Butler and Bam for Trae Young, who, again, makes a gazillion dollars and has basically been the best player on a middle team. He's not having as good a season as Tyler Hero by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. And this guy feels like the Heat would give up Tyler Hero. I don't think the Heat would give up Tyler Hero for Trae Young straight up right now. I don't think that's I don't think that they would, the way that this is going. And I don't think the Heat would do it for Dame right now. But this was the thing that made me laugh about it the most, is I always love when these fake trades happen with the Heat. The Heat people have no appreciation for the Heat stuff, right? But this was my favorite, then I go a couple slides over and I see a fake Dame trade to the Lakers, which you probably, if these guys do get traded, you probably want to swap teams on which one's actually going to happen. But their trade was Lakers receive Damian Lillard. The Bucks get Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and an unprotected first-round pick. And the Pistons get Christian Wood in a second-rounder. I guess they got to swap some stuff out there for salary. But I'm like, all right, so let me get this straight. You have them giving up Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell. None of those guys as good as Tyler Hero. Not their future first-round pick. And not their first-round pick from this year. You have them giving away basically Austin Reeves, who's a nice player, D'Angelo Russell, who's obviously very talented, but nobody seems to want on their team. You're basically trading your Trae Young to the Bucks, and you're getting Damian Mother Bleeping Lillard. And Rui Hachimura, who's, solid. He's a good player. So let's say that's the equivalent to their Duncan Robinson in the trade. but you're not giving up a youth. You're not giving up a youth piece, and you're not giving up, and you're not giving up essentially your best player this season for Damian Lillard. But I was just like, it's always funny, like with the Heat, like, oh, the Heat have to give up all this stuff, but the Lakers, let's finagle it so the Lakers really, like, it doesn't hurt the Lakers at all. And they get a better player than Trae Young as well. They get Damian Lillard for less. You get Damian Lillard for less than you get Trae Young. I'm like, what is going on here? I was like, this is the worst fake trade I think I've seen in a while. Listen, it also speaks to how good Tyler. Maybe I don't think people have really grasped how good Tyler's been this year so far. I don't think they're giving that its proper respect. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think right now the Heat have to be so thrilled with the way he's playing. Mind you, some of the money that's now thrown around there with guys. It's funny how things flip quickly. I don't know who the people are in the league that the Heat are trading Tyler Hero for. He's been marvelous. The only thing that really, like, as long as this keeps up, the test for Tyler is really going to, I guess, come up in the postseason, and he's going to maybe get a chance to shut all that stuff up. But it was like Jimmy said, Jimmy, when I asked him about this after the game, when they're joking about the 1A 1B thing, he's been deadly, dude. And even Jimmy said, like, he's been holding it down for the team, and we kind of all thought offensively, this is going to be the year of Bam. And even with Jimmy out, Bam had the game against he had the game in Mexico City, and he had a game against the Pacers for sure. So he's had his moments as well. But Tyler's really been offensively night in and night out. Just tremendous. And I just saw that trade, and I was like, that is disgusting. Which also leads me to this. So the NBA, so ESPN did one of their stupid tiers, which I love a good list, where they stacked the top 3 stars on a team. And they have all these tiers. They have championship ready, the Jokic tier, elite with questions, prime age talent, legend-led teams, rising cores, stuck in the middle, injury questions, promising but unproven, and the rebuilds. Okay. So they're championship ready. They have Boston and OKC. Not surprising. Then they have obviously Denver's 3. Then these are their elite with questions. Elite with questions. Elite. That word. Elite with questions. You have the Dallas Mavericks, who have Luka, Kyrie, and they put Derek Lively here at number 4, which he was tremendous last year. His plus minus this year, he's been really, really good. So, look, they went to the finals this year. I don't have a big quibble with that. But the next one, the Bucks. Giannis has been amazing, right? But the Bucks have been pretty this year, right? It hasn't been like, first of all, they basically stole a game 2 games ago. They were in a tussle with the Bulls. But, they're a couple games back from losing to the Hornets. Like, I don't know if the Bucks have figured it out. They've gotten a little bit of a reprieve here on stuff. So, I don't know. But they have them at 5. This is the one that drives me crazy, though. All right? And I don't know if they started writing this beforehand. The Philadelphia 76ers, you guys really, like, whoever wrote this list, you guys have had these guys, and you put them at elite with questions. With questions. That's what you're, with questions? It says if it was an NBA 2K and you could turn off injuries, this would be a legitimate argument for the top, for this trio to be atop the list. But with Embiid and George's history, yeah, that's if. Yeah, but yeah, what? With the Embiid and George's history of injuries, by the way, he's out for the next 2 games, Paul George. And Philadelphia's awful start. This trio can't be any higher on the list. So, like, this is the crazy thing. Is like, you guys thought about having this list. You thought about having this higher on the list? That's crazy to me, man. They have the Knicks at 7, Cleveland at 8. Cleveland's been. How do you not have Cleveland above them? Like, genuinely, I know you guys are obsessed with Philadelphia ESPN, but seriously, dude, if you're keeping the starts into account, okay, how, for the love of all that is holy, can a team that just lost their first game be 2 spots on a tier list behind the Philadelphia 76ers? I'm not even doing a Heat argument. I'll get to the Heat in a second. But what is that? Like, there are things, when we talk about the national media and how wrong they get it and the things they get obsessed over and the things they overrate. Who wrote this list, by the way? Who put this? So Tim Bontemps with I know he's a Philly guy, right? Like, he's around the Sixers a lot. Dude, you can't do that. Like, that's complete horseshit. To put the Philadelphia 76ers on any list ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers right now is ridiculous. Like, I understand you have your preseason projections. We all do. People do it in college football. But you're all right. We're starting to infringe on 20 games. We're getting there. And you've seen this part of the season so far, and you have a category that actually is injury questions on here. But you don't include Philly? I'm very confused by this. I am very, very confused by this. So you got the Knicks, and somehow the Knicks are above Cleveland. I don't understand that. Memphis, Minnesota, they got Anthony Edwards, of course. Great. Any core that has Anthony Edwards, you could be high on a list. Put anybody else there with them. You're going to be in a good spot. 11, they have the Lakers, which, okay. The Lakers are off to a nice start. Credit to them. LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves. But, all right, dude. Like, we really think this is going to be a serious team? As their window. I know LeBron's, everybody loves LeBron, and what he's doing is incredible, and AD is having this incredible year. I'm just saying, as your third guy is Austin Reeves, and that's what you're coming at everybody with. All right. I'm just sure that's where we want to go with that, but they have them a fringe top 10 team as their tier with the oldest player in the league. Then Golden State, then Philly, Orlando, Indiana, 16 the Sixers. I'm surprised that there's a national list that has Victor Wembanyama on any list that doesn't have him in the top 5. So I guess props for a little hold on that. And then Houston's the last in their, what is this? Legend-led contenders. Who the hell is the legend on Houston? Legend-led contenders? Why would Houston be on that list? Houston's core is the most difficult to determine. Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks have been key parts of creating the identity. Jabari Smith. Ultimately, the choices led to Şengün. And their 2 highest draft picks of Alperen Şengün and Reed Shepherd and Amen Thompson. Okay, so they have them at 17. Kings are after that. They're just in a tier by themselves, which is just called Stuck in the Middle. Sorry, Kings. But then 2 places later, they got the Pelicans above the Miami Heat at 18. Figure that out. And then finally, the Miami Heat at 19 on this list. 19 on this list. They're basically saying they're a bottom third team. Hero is off to the best start of his career at 24.4 points a game at 48.6 shooting. But this group is down here because of the combination of Butler's age, injury history, and contract status. He has a player option for next season. Adebayo remains one of the most versatile bigs. We saw that. But this group has gone as far as Butler could carry it the past few seasons. Until further notice, that remains the case. Can I just tell you what drives me nuts about this? Okay. I'm all for having that criticism. Okay? We can say that you think that Butler is peaked. We can say that. Fine. We can say Butler is peaked. But 2 things. Why is he the guy that's held against the most, right? Because he just missed his first playoff run. As many regular season games as he misses, Jimmy Butler is available in the playoffs. Why isn't Giannis in age and injury when he has gotten injured in 3 out of the last 5 playoff runs? Why isn't he ever in those questions? Why is he given the benefit of the doubt? Same could be said for the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 6th on this list, and they have 2 guys who are always hurt in Paul George and Joel Embiid. And I take it to this. Their next team is the LA Clippers, 20. The Philadelphia 76ers are closer to the Clippers than they are to the mother bleeping Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Denver Nuggets on this list. Trust me when I tell you, when you have a team that's led by Joel Embiid and Paul George, Tyrese Maxey's a tremendous player, and Jared McCain looks like he's going to be something pretty decent, right? Like he's off to that Jaime Jaquez start. He looks like he's going to be a real piece. However, I'm just trying to figure out, when you're putting a list together, you have Jimmy Butler, who's been one of the best playoff players of the last 10 years, been to 2 finals, a shot away from a third. Yes, he missed the playoffs last year. His contract status, it's a little bit weird to put that there because, like, he doesn't, you'd almost feel like if he was under a longer contract, you'd say that's like an albatross. I would almost understand that argument more. But let's just say he opts out and he's gone. But I don't understand the argument of having the Heat down here and the Sixers up there. And mind you, they did this with the information they've had this season. It's just weird to me. It's just a strange. I never will get that. And it's part of the thing that I find frustrating about that Sixers team is like, why are the Heat always like, it's the same thing with Stan Van Gundy, where it's like, you can't put them in the same category. I'm like, why? Because of a few regular season games that he's putting up 35 against the Jazz? I guess the way I would put it like this, for the Mr. List over here, if you knew tomorrow a playoff series was starting between the Miami Heat and Philadelphia 76ers and loser had to leave town for the 7-game series, you're really not taking the Miami Heat over the Philadelphia 76ers? And you may come at me and you say, well, let's say in your fictional scenario, Tobin, are they where they're at? Could injuries happen, or am I guaranteed full health? And let me just say let's just say in this mystical scenario, I guarantee full health. But mind you, that means you have to guarantee full health for Jimmy Butler. And I would just say I'm taking the Miami Heat in 5 in that series. Because I don't think it's the Philadelphia 76ers that just have a health problem. They have a ticker problem, dude. They have a heart problem. Their own team is infighting. They're telling their star, you don't set a standard of anything. But yet, you guys keep giving this guy and this team the benefit of the doubt. And you added Paul George on the top of it, who, if you believe some of the rumors that are out there, he didn't even want. He wanted Jimmy Butler on his team. And let me just tell you something that drives me friggin' nuts about this. Here's the thing that's going to drive me crazy about it, okay? Because Tyler's been tremendous. Bam hasn't even played well this year, offensively. Okay, he hasn't even hit his stride, and I know he's going to bounce back. But the thing that's going to be funny to me and infuriating is I know for a fact, if Jimmy Butler doesn't end his career with the Miami Heat, let's just say he leaves and ends up on the Knicks or the Sixers. Oh my God, are you going to... We got playoff Jimmy. They are going to treat this dude like a king. But when he's wearing that black and red, afterthought, washed. Oh, you missed the playoffs. I mean, dude, they are going to be all over that. Trust me. All over that. Look at these guys who have had durability questions. But we don't question it with Ron Anthony Davis. We don't question it with the Grizzlies, who apparently are falling apart all the time. We don't do it with OG Anunoby, who gets hurt all the time. We don't have any questions that Jalen Brunson will be able to hold up. We don't have any questions that Joel Embiid and Paul George. No. Giannis, who gets seemingly hurt now every playoffs. Kyrie, who's not been like the pillar of durability throughout his career. No, only Jimmy. All right. Jamal Murray, he looks fantastic physically. I don't know. I'm lashing out. I understand, but A national list really will set me off. These I got a dumbass fake trade and a dumbass tier list. That's enough to get your boy Tobin annoyed.